Hello, and welcome back to Muse, the podcast where creativity and personal growth come together. I'm your host, Damaris, artist and multi-passionate creator, sharing my lessons and experiences in living a more creative, intentional life. I hope you're having an amazing day or week whenever you're listening to this episode. Today is going to be a little bit of a heavier topic, but something I've contemplated a lot. We're chatting about showing up as your most authentic self by breaking your conditioning or limiting beliefs. Firstly, let's break down what conditioning is. The social and familial and personal narratives we internalize, meaning these narratives and ways that we think about ourselves or we think others believe about us is and can hinder us from showing up as our most authentic versions of ourselves. This could be for many reasons. We're afraid of what others think. We don't want to stand out and potentially make fools of ourselves, or that we will be accepted as our most authentic versions of ourselves. Whatever the reason, not showing up as who you are inhibits us to move forward in the creative dreams we have for ourselves, or even to step up to the next versions of what that even looks like for us. I think conditioning doesn't always come from others. It can be from ourselves as well, but it does stem from things that we have picked up from childhood. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The way I have noticed this the most in my life, patterns of me recognizing, has been how I allow what others think of me to affect my actions. Since I was young, I have always wanted to please my parents. Be the good girl, do the right things. I think being the firstborn naturally created a level of expectation that my parents had for me, but also that I had for myself, knowing or thinking about how they relied on me for certain things. To be respectful, to be kind, to listen to my elders, etc. Things that parents say to their kids all the time. Once my siblings came along, the expectations towards me grew, naturally, of course, both for my parents and myself. I always wanted to be a big sister, but that also made me feel from a very young age the responsibility over them and their well-being. This all created a pressure that no one really talked about or gave the impression of, but I felt nonetheless over the way that I carried myself, the example that I set for my siblings, and the person my parents expected me to be. By the time I was a teenager, this had changed to feeling like the person I thought I was on the inside, that I never really got to show, wasn't good enough because I always had to be the good older sister. The role I had been playing for so long was what was expected, because that's what I showed the world pretty much the whole time until that point. Our perception of ourselves plays a huge role in the people we desire to become. Having these blocks will keep us stuck in all areas of our life, especially when it comes to our creative work, which is what I notice for myself in a lot of ways. Maybe while you're listening to this, you can come up with a few things you might be aware of that keep holding you back that you wish you could change. Writing these things down can be so helpful to shining light on them before you decide to take steps to making changes. But if you're not aware of what some of these limiting beliefs or conditionings are, they do stem from these 3 root lies, which I had learned and now want to share with you. So the 3 root lies are: I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable, and I'm helpless. I'm unworthy can show up as you thinking, I am bad, I'm not good enough, I don't belong. I'm unlovable can show up as feeling shame and feeling like no one will ever love you. It's hard to be vulnerable or fear of abandonment. I'm helpless, and how it can show up is through feeling lack of control over areas of your life, feeling like it doesn't matter what you do, it won't make a difference, feeling like there's no way out. I know, these are super heavy and very deep roots that usually stem, like I said, from when we were children. But what you need to remember is that they are called the 3 lies, and they are things that we come to believe about ourselves. And the things with beliefs are that they can be changed. My first step in shifting these narratives about myself was to acknowledge and accept that I have thought and felt unworthy for a long time. Not good enough, or that maybe I was too much. Not that I remember any specific thing or things that triggered this way of thinking in particular. It was something that I felt and then naturally made changes in my life to protect myself from having to feel this way again. So then I became the person that would make everyone else around me comfortable and able to be themselves before I could even focus on how I felt. I was always choosing others and their needs before myself and what would make me happy. Questioning and challenging why I'm doing or acting a certain way was the first step to acknowledging that there was something hindering my moving forward in this area. Now, being able to look back at those situations, I can say, I don't want to be that person anymore. I have worked and will continue to work hard to keep myself and my needs first. I don't need to feel ashamed for taking care of myself. These areas of life take time to break and change, of course. The things can always come up, even if you think you feel you have worked on them already. And that's okay. Accept where you are and look forward to the person you want to become. Then take baby steps to move towards who that person is. I love to journal. I've mentioned it before. I think probably in pretty much every episode. It helps me to express myself freely, knowing no one else will read what I wrote. Listening to encouraging podcasts, people, or music can help get you in the mindset to want to make changes. Because I know it can feel scary to step out of what you have felt to be your protection over all these years. I would say probably one of the biggest things that has helped me in this area has been creativity and making or creating new things that I haven't done before. This created a feeling of empowerment by making something from scratch, like pottery or baking a cake. And it can be super encouraging to you to think about how you are more than capable of becoming the person you desire to be and create the life that you want to live, which ultimately is what we want, to be happy and honest with who we are and who we want to show and share with the world. So taking some steps to think about what some of your limiting beliefs could be, and maybe using what the 3 lies are, could be a starting point to understanding how you think about yourself. And then from there, you can decide if you're ready to start to make changes, to feel more empowered, and to create just for the sake of creating. And that can slowly shift your mindset and then you as a whole being. I know this topic might have hit a bit harder or deeper than maybe you intended or that you wanted to get into today. And of course, no one is saying you have to do anything with this information. But I hope you can feel encouraged that you're not alone. We all have some type of conditioning or limiting belief, and we are all working through it all the time. Sometimes it's just easier than others, but it doesn't mean that you're having to go through it alone. And that's why we have this podcast as well. We can share our struggles and our wins. So let's become an even more authentic version of ourselves together by working through these areas of our lives and becoming even more amazing creatives that I know you are. Please share your experiences in the comments with becoming your most authentic selves. I think this conversation in general can be so helpful for so many people, and even giving tips or finding ways to encourage and uplift each other is only going to benefit everyone involved. I want to thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed the pod, please follow and share. New episodes come out every Monday. I hope you have an amazing day and keep creating. Bye.